Good evening. I'm Aaron Wright. The average pay raise in America is about 3%. For the past 2 years, Bexar County Commissioners have received increases more than double that amount. Tomorrow, they begin discussing another pay raise for themselves. Eyewitness News reporter Savannah Louie explains why some folks see question marks where there's dollar signs.
The only thing better than recharging from work is reimbursement earned from it.
You're always happy to see a pay raise.
Retired veteran Arthur Peck was satisfied with his small raise.
Probably about an average of 2%.
So after learning some government officials get a lot more,
7%, that's kind of, yeah.
He's puzzled.
What would they be basing a 7% pay raise on?
In 2017 and 2018, the 4 county commissioners received 7% raises to their 6-figure salaries. Last year, that was an extra $35,000 to the budget.
When you start putting more money into salaries, it's got to come out of someplace else.
Where dollar signs appear, civilians see question marks.
That has to come from someplace. So that has to come from higher taxes. We run more of a deficit. It's just like a business.
What do they base it on? What criteria are they using to base their pay raise on?
Questions no county commissioner would answer today. All 4 declined to comment when KENS 5 reached out. A spokesperson for the county said the committee that determines pay increase is selected by a randomly drawn grand jury. Their discussion begins at Tuesday's commissioner meeting and will take weeks, with some folks hoping whatever decision reached reflects the people that are served.
I think the average pay raise for somebody in operations is around 3%. So you'll see anywhere between 2 and 5% is a pay raise.
Savannah Louie, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.